Well, the St. Louis Cardinals are kicking off a series against the Los Angeles Dodgers at home this weekend. But is it bad timing with how the Cardinals pitching seems to be crumbling right now? We're going to talk about if we think this Cardinals pitching staff can survive a series against Los Angeles Dodgers offense this weekend. And then zooming out on the season, how much concern do we have about the Cardinals' arms and their ability to keep them in the playoff hunt all season long on this episode of Dealing the Cards? Hey, welcome back into Dealing the Cards. Josh here with you as always. Andrew back in the States. He's going to the game tonight against the Dodgers, and then we'll be at Blogger Day, Podcaster Day, whatever it's called now, tomorrow. So make sure you tune in to the channel tomorrow, as we'll have the Q&A with Mo uploaded on the channel at some point here too, so you can hear some of the. He usually gives some pretty good feedback that he doesn't like. Sometimes he says stuff to us that he hasn't told the reporters yet, and then they're kind of like, "What the heck?" Like, we're here all the time, and you just told these guys that. But so Mo can drop some fun nuggets. Also, it's his last time, so I kind of feel like he's going to be a little bit edgier than usual. So excited to bring that to you tomorrow. But obviously, the Cardinals are coming off a series loss against the Kansas City Royals. Andrew, I know you didn't get to catch a ton of the games, but obviously, like, the offense has started to heat up. Like, if you look at the numbers, they're putting up runs, guys are producing. I know people were starting to freak out a little bit. They're like, "Oh, the offense can't score." It's like, okay, like, there's slumps, like, these things happen. The pitching side of things, though, I think that's a little bit more concerning, because I think most people probably felt like, hey, the rotation's producing, bullpen's producing. It did get better, but it didn't feel great. It kind of felt a little smoke and mirrors at times, right? Like, when we do our tier rankings, we're pretty low. We're like, we like tamper down what Fetty's done. We don't prop it up. We're like, it's a little bit better than what, like, the numbers are better than what he actually is. We do the same thing with Miles Michaelis. Sonny Gray's had his ups and downs. Andre Palante, I think we've been pretty low on for a little bit here. But then Matthew Liberatore, who got crushed by the Rangers this weekend and then gets pulled from his start against the Royals for fatigue-related issues. His velo went from the mid-90s to he threw a fastball 89 miles an hour before he got pulled from that game. It's kind of a mess. And so, Andrew, I want to share a couple stats with you real quick, and I want to ask you kind of what's your concern level with the Cardinals pitching going into this weekend series against the freaking Los Angeles Dodgers, and then two, kind of on the summer. So Cardinals before May 19th, this is from Brandon Kiley. He did a good job breaking this down on Twitter today. They had covered 259 innings, a 3.64 ERA, basically a 240 batting average, allowed 19% K percentage, 9% whiff percentage, 1.2 whip. Okay, whatever. But then in the 15 starts since then, they have a 4.9 ERA. The batting average has gone up by 40 points allowed. They have a little, like, a 1% better whiff rate, but they're allowing about 0.1 walks and hits per 9 more. The expected numbers are about in line, though, from what they were earlier. And so basically what's telling you is, like, are they this bad that they've been this past week? Maybe not. But are they as good as they were earlier? Probably not either. But who really knows what this pitching staff is? But Andrew, what do you think it is? Like, can they survive a series against the Dodgers? And do they have what it takes to stay in the race throughout the summer, or at least get to the deadline?
Yeah, I mean, it's been concerning just watching from afar. I've been asleep for most of these games because I've been overseas in Japan. But every time I wake up, it looks like some disaster happened in the chat. And then I check the score and we won the game. And I'm like, what happened? And I look at the box score and it's like, oh, we gave up the lead 3 times and then somehow won. And when we do win and when we don't win, then it's just disastrous. At least the last week or so. Andre Palante just seems to be not finding it right now, and he did have horrible luck in that inning with BABIP and some ground balls getting through. But at the end of the day, it was very hard contact on the ground balls, and people were barreling them out like crazy. And then Liberatore, 2 back-to-back starts, we were always concerned about, like, oh, he's never pitched this many innings in his career before as a starter. It's been a while since minor league days, at the very least, for him, since he's been stretched out this much. And for that regression to start to hit in June is a little bit alarming. And he hasn't reached that innings count yet, but his velo seems to be down. And we were worried that the injury yesterday, or the reason he exited the game, could have been for a more serious injury. And it looks like that's not the case, but you never know with these things. Sometimes pitchers start to show warning signs further ahead of time than we would like to see. And then Just didn't seem to be locating. Velo was down. Just a lot of not great peripherals and not great results for him in yesterday's start against the Royals. And then, Eric Fetty's like maybe one of the worst xERA pitchers in all of baseball. He's been getting extremely lucky. And I'm not looking forward to seeing what that has tomorrow against the Dodgers when all of us are there watching with Mo. That could be rough. But especially against Yamamoto, whatever. I could see that game getting a little bit out of hand. Hopefully, they can figure it out. It looks like Michael McGreevy will probably get the spot start on Sunday. That's probably going to be the toughest lineup that he's faced. I know he did really well against a tough Mets lineup earlier this year, but I would say the Dodgers probably, with a lot of their guys healthy now, a little bit better than the Mets. They have Juan Soto and Lindor, and the Dodgers have like 4 of those guys. So I don't know. Well, it'll probably be his toughest outing of his career, and hopefully he can continue to do what he's been doing. And if that doesn't earn him a spot in the rotation, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, at this point, with you look at the rotation's concerns overall right now, and the fact that they're going into this stretch where they're playing 13 games straight and they're playing 28 games in 29 days. Like, they want to do the 6-man thing. I think it kind of makes sense, especially with Libby's fatigue issues right now. Like, if they're not gonna put him on the IL, you probably need to give him a little bit more rest in between starts right now. And if that gets him back to pitching what he was before, it's totally worth throwing Palante out there longer, because you need those Libby starts to be better than what they've been lately. But I think once that stretch is over, the question should not be, when is Michael McGreevy coming back to St. Louis? Assuming he pitches well, the question should be, when is Andre Palante coming back to St. Louis? Unless he gets things back on track too. Again, Palante is one of those guys I want to see runway from this year, but he wasn't the same as Jordan Walker, Nolan Gorman, and stuff like that. Like, it's like well, I guess actually it is kind of like the Burleson Gorman side of things, where it's like, well, Michael McGreevy's so far outplaying Palante so much right now, and he's one of those runway guys too, that it's like at some point you got to give him in there. We've seen what it does for guys if you can send him to AAA for a little bit and kind of figure things out. Palante's sinker is not the same this year. Right-handed hitters, he's not getting out the same clip he was before. He needs to figure that out. Hopefully he figures out in the next few weeks, but I'm okay if he goes down to Memphis to figure that out. The Liberatore side of things, like, I'm not like the innings thing. I think has been a little bit like, I don't oh man, you hear Bo playing with a toy right now. Oh great, we'll try to get his attention and take that away. But the the McGreevy inning or Liberatore inning side of things is not a huge deal to me, because he's done 120 innings 3 straight years before 2024 when he's a reliever. So I don't think that's a huge thing. It's the fact he can't go deep into games in recent years with the velo side of things and that dropping off. So is it a mechanical thing right now? Is it an injury thing? Libby made it seem like it was a mechanical thing after the game yesterday. Or so I tend to believe him on that, but do they have enough time to figure that out between starts? That's a concern for me. So Andrew, I guess if Libby's not going to figure it out or get back to what he was before, or even near it, like, I don't think he was thought he's gonna be a sub-3 ERA guy even recently, but if he can't slot himself into the number 2 spot, do you think this rotation can make it to the deadline and be good enough with this offense and defense to be in contention? Or do you have real concerns about the Cardinals potentially falling out of the race?
Yeah, I mean, right now with Sonny Gray, like, he's been kind of hit or miss, but fairly reliable. I think he's like, the Cardinals are winning a lot of his starts, even some of the rougher ones, which is, that's fine. And I'm fairly confident that he'll get back to being a serviceable front end of the rotation starter.
In his last 2 starts, he's like a sub-3 ERA. He's been really good. So I don't, last 2 starts, he's a 2.08 ERA over 13 innings, 15 strikeouts. So I feel good about him. But I'm talking about, like, do you feel good after Sonny Gray? Because you got 4 other guys, 5 other guys at a 6-man you got to rely on.
And right now, like, the other guys that you're looking at in your rotation are Andre Palante, Miles Michaelis, and Eric Fetty. And Andre Palante has had some serious concerns throughout the season. Eric Fetty has probably been the luckiest pitcher in all of baseball. I can't imagine there's another guy who's walked that many guys and has a sub-4 ERA like he does, and is also giving up contact at a generational rate and not striking people out. So there's not a lot to like there. And then who else? Miles Michaelis, who was a DFA candidate all off season and like for the first month of the year. So
4.5 ERA in his last 3 starts for all
yeah,
people who want to be like, well, if you take out the Boston start, Michaelis has been amazing.
no, I mean, yeah, I don't know how I feel about Miles Michaelis being my second most reliable starter over the last stretch. If you remove Matthew Liberatore from that equation, I don't know. Like, I think this rotation is cooked without Matthew Liberatore being at least like a 3. But hey, maybe Michael McGreevy will fix that. You know, he's been really good in his chances in St. Louis, and if he gets to start against the Dodgers, I can't imagine it will go as well as it did in other times. But he's done it before in times where we're like, who is this Michael McGreevy guy? And then he comes up and is amazing. So that would be nice to see out of him. But yeah, I do have some serious concerns about where this rotation is at this point in the season. And that's not really where I thought we would be without all these injuries. But I guess when you look at it, without Matthew Liberatore, there's not really another guy in this rotation that can really give you much of anything.
No, or at least not at that level, right? And like Ponte did really well last year, but again, I don't think any of us thought he was going to be that good this year too. And maybe if he did, that's cool. But I wanted him in the rotation because I think what he did last year is prove he's a back end guy. But back end guys most of the time aren't like immune to a demotion to AAA and to figure things out. And I do think Palante can turn it around. I think he has a future at this club. I just think right now he might need a moment to go down to AAA. I do like, even though I know it's kind of tongue in cheek from Redbird's farmhand, but the Zach Plesac signing I do think was really intriguing today. If you missed that, the former Cleveland Guardians starter, he's kind of fallen off last few years, but he did have a stretch for 2 years, 2019, 2020. He looked like a really intriguing young star in the game of baseball. Then 2021, 2022, and 2023, maybe it was just 2. I think it was just, 21 and 22. He had like a 4.5 ERA over those 2 years and like almost 50 starts. And it's like, okay, we're not trying to sell you that he's some incredible starter here, but you're talking about depth in AAA. Having a guy like that you could rely on, who could be giving you back in the rotation innings. Like we saw what happened to the Cardinals in 2023 when they started rolling out Drew Rom and Dakota Hudson and Jake Woodford. It's like Plesac could be a more reliable guy than that. But again, he was terrible to Angels last year. He was just pitching in the independent league. So it's like, it's a shot in the dark, but also like, I mean, there's people commenting when the signing was, and it's like, oh, Cardinals signing another washed up veteran. It's like, okay, who's available in free agency right now that's not a washed up veteran, including the guys from overseas? You know what I'm talking about? like there's, I was the one who said we're not going to comment on that, and then I did. But like, what can you ask for at this point in free agency for a flyer guy? It's like, I like the idea of Zach Plesac. He has the connections with Rob Cerfolio and Larry Day from Cleveland. Don't know if it means a whole lot, but it's intriguing to me. So that's the other side of this too, is like the guys that you have in the rotation right now aren't performing, but then, well, besides Sonny Gray, because Sonny Gray is that 2.08 ERA over the last his last 2 starts. What do you think the next lowest ERA is? Who do you think owns it right now?
On the Cardinals?
In the last week or 2 weeks, not overall.
Like on the Cardinals or in the league?
On the Cardinals.
Is it like
4 equal guesses here?
It can't be Eric Fetty, right?
It's Eric Fetty at a 4.09. Then you got Michaelis 4.45, Liberatore at a 6.75. And you got Andre Palante at the 9 ERA over his last 2 starts. Again, it's 2 starts, but like, again, lately it's like you're not churning out these awesome starts right now. You're churning out a lot of crap. And but if one of those guys goes down, it's like, okay, you got Michael McGreevy, but for a 6-man, he's gonna already be in there. So it's like, okay, I guess you could put Steven Matz in there, but then it hurts your bullpen. Then you look at AAA and it's like, DrewRom.com, anyone? Like, is that gonna happen? So I like Plesac as a depth move there. I do think one of the things I'm starting to watch out for is like we've playfully talked a little bit about, okay, could the Cardinals buy at the deadline, and are they positioned to do that? And even if they do, I don't know how much of a green light from ownership they'll get in terms of if they can move significant prospects, which they shouldn't, or if they can take on much salary. I don't know that question. It might be like last year where it's like, hey, you can make a move for Eric Fetty as long as you don't take on money, which they didn't because they traded Tommy Edman. I do wonder though, it's like you look at this team and it's like you look at the rotation, they could trade for some rotation depth, which would be, I mean, I think they need. But outside of that, it's like, are they really going to trade for a top end starter? Probably not. And so I don't really even know what they upgrade other than get a bullpen arm and get a like a Jose Quintana type. Not like, I mean, he ended up being awesome, but like when they traded for him, no one was like, yeah, they traded for Jose Quintana. He's gonna start a playoff game. They're like, Jose Quintana from the Pirates. What are you doing? And then he ended up being awesome. They could trade for someone like that at the deadline. But like honestly, like you're looking at this team's potential. I know I'm putting the cart before the horse here, but if we're talking about 2025, the rotation, I don't know if Liberatore doesn't figure it out. Who besides Sonny Gray do you feel okay throwing out in a playoff game right now? Like they should. This is. I'm not saying this should happen, but I think at this point you're like hoping and rolling the dice that like every once in a while when these contenders calls up a hot shot pitching prospect down the stretch and puts a lot on their back and their shoulders, like are they going to have to do that to Quinn Matthews or Takeo Roby down the stretch? I'm not saying they should, and I'm not saying it will happen, but like that's the kind of like scenarios you're looking at here to get upside in the rotation. Otherwise, you're throwing out Miles Michaelis, Eric Fetty, Andre Palante, McGreevy, hopefully Liberatore pitching more like he was earlier than the last two starts. But I think that's the like I still think they're a team that can make the playoffs right now. Their biggest obstacle is the fact that the National League is so strong. So I'm not banking on it today. They're making the playoffs. They're a half game back of the wild card. But even if they get in, like I know like Texas Rangers went deep with Evaldi and Montgomery, but that's stronger than Gray and Fetty, right? Like I don't know who the two is unless Liberatore gets back to that. And I'm not talking Liberatore needs to be a sub 3 ERA guy, but can he be that guy who's in the mid threes and you feel is pretty good as a low end 2, high end 3? He's got to figure out what it does, what happens to himself that he can start off a game in the mid 90s and completely drop off velocity wise. So anything else you want to add in terms of the starting pitching or even bullpen side of things? Cause that's a concern as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's bad. If Matthew Liberatore can't figure it out, because we were looking at Matthew Liberatore as a potential all-star. We were like, oh, this guy could be a frontline starter, and all of that within 2 starts is like, well, maybe, but also if he can't figure this out and he can't take you deep into games, then I don't know. And I think we might have all jumped the gun a little bit on the like, oh, Matthew Liberatore is going to be a starter, but like, yeah, it worked out for like, I don't know, 10 starts. And then now it seems to be like, I don't know. And it's starting to be like, is he, does he still have reliever downside? Maybe like if he can't survive the season, then it certainly looks like that might be a possibility for next year. And if Palante looks bad, then who are your homegrown starters? That could be really concerning going forward. But I guess we just have to see. I don't think Liberatore is going to pitch against the Dodgers. I think he's at least going to go against the Blue Jays if they decide that he's healthy and ready enough to do that, but without like skipping a start or something. So we'll have to wait and see until then. But I hope McGreevy comes up Sunday, and I hope he shoves because we kind of need that right now.
Yeah, earliest Liberatore would probably start at this point is Wednesday. If assuming they're do 6-man this weekend, that would put Libby on slate to go Wednesday. That's the earliest he'd go unless they skip a start or maybe give him a quick IL stint to get back rolling. But again, this is mechanical. That's something that could be figured out within a few days. So we'll have to wait and see. That's on Rob Strafolio and Larry Day and Matt Pierpont and the Major League staff figure that out. And if Libby's not ready, then maybe they do need to do one of these quick IL stints. I'd rather do that in the early in June, make sure he's ready, than potentially hurt him long term for the season. I don't think I'm definitely not ready to start questioning if he can be a starting pitcher going forward. I think you saw that upside in the first 10 starts where he's again one of the like lowest ERAs in baseball. Been awesome. And like not even just like he's 5 and diving. Like he's going 6-7 innings. He went 6 innings at eight of his first 10 starts, 7 and 2 of those, I think. And I know you're not completely saying that, but like I'm not ready at all to consider that. It's like maybe the question is, do we jump gun a little bit about what the upside is for him? But at the very least, right now, I'd be surprised if by the end of the season we're like, oh, Libby's a reliever again. But to be fair, you do look at like a Jordan Hicks in San Francisco last year, where it starts the world out on fire as a starter and then hits a wall. Maybe that's Libby again. I do think Libby, I feel, have more trust in that can figure it out because he has given you starter innings over multiple years in the minor leagues. But at the same time, his issue's always been, can he get deep into starts? That's coming up again. It's like, man, you got to figure that out. So, one thing, a couple of our sponsors, the podcast, First 314 Sports Cards and Collectibles, their presenting sponsor. They're located at 9640 All Boulevard in Olivet. They're open 10 to 5 Monday through Friday and 10 to 4s on Saturdays and Sundays. They buy, sell, and trade all sports cards and Pokemon cards. They have the new selections of packs, boxes, and single cards of local players and stars from around the league. I'm going to have to give Andrew this Donnie card that I snagged for him the other day while he was gone. So make sure you go check out 314 because they've always got awesome cards in stock. Whether you're looking for a specific one to find, you're looking to open some boxes and sets, all that kind of stuff, 314 should be your go-to. And we also want to let you know about one of our other sponsors, and that's Underdog Sports. The Deal in the Cards podcast is proud to be partnered with Underdog Sports, our favorite place to play fantasy games. You're now eligible to play in Illinois, Missouri, Indiana, and 37 other U.S. states. You got to check out Pick'em. It's so easy to play. You just pick 2 to 8 stats of your favorite players and choose whether they'll go higher or lower. You can win 20 times your money by going 5 for 5. If that sounds like fun, sign up with our promo code CARDS to claim your first free pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We can't wait to see your entries. Make sure you use that promo code CARDS. You can download Underdog Sports in the YouTube description, or you can just go look it up on any app store. If you use that promo code CARDS, you get a first-time deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash, and then also that first-time that free entry, no risk on that one. Andrew had a good 3-legger today, or 3 picks today with Sonny Gray over or higher 5.5 strikeouts, lower Gorman on total bases at 0.5, and he's not starting today, so that helps out Andrew on that one. And then he went the higher on home runs for Shohei Ohtani. So you think Sonny Gray's going to give up a bomb to Shohei?
Well, he does have that problem, doesn't he? So
he does.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that again tomorrow against Eric Fetty, but whatever.
Yeah, if you pick a Shohei home run in 3 straight games, you're probably going to hit one. So
yeah, and then probably Tommy Edman off Eric Fetty would add some insult to injury.
Honestly, that would be hilarious if that happens.
So
did you see that picture of Brendan Donovan and Tommy Edman hugging on the field?
Yeah. Did you see Lars Newport did Mookie Betts' podcast? So that means both of them are.
Uh-oh.
So, whoops.
Oh, I have not seen that. I'm going to have to watch that. Ooh.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Also, I think that entry gets voided because Gorman's not starting, which means I get all my bonus cash turned into real money. Thanks, Underdog. Sorry.
They void that? That's
weird. Yeah, they do. Because like when guys get hurt and stuff, they just or don't start.
I feel like since he's not in the lineup, you shouldn't get penalized for that since he could still come in the game later. But oh well. We're not going to hate on our sponsor. So appreciate them. But okay, so one quick thing though, I know you've got to get to the game, and so I don't want to keep you too long today. And again, we'll have audio from the Mosaic Q&A tomorrow, so you can look forward to that. And then I'm sure we'll be live on Sunday as we always are. So you're going to get 3 straight days of content. So look forward to that. That'll be fun. But offense has gotten a lot better last few days. It's erupted a little bit. Still, I mean, overall, they need to big picture need to start hitting more home runs. On the season, they only have like 3 guys who are 20% above league average or better that are on like playing every day, and that's Ivan Herrera, Mason Wynn, and Brendan Donovan. Contreras has been heating up again though, and so like on the season he ended up finishing like that, and lately he's been again more like that. But I think obviously you need to see him start to heat up. But again, 959 OPS this last week from Contreras. Burleson has 1,000 plus. Gorman has 1,000 plus, but that dude's not playing, so that's fun. Ivan Herrera has been getting back and ready again. Mason Wynn's producing. Pedro Paz is kind of producing, which is kind of interesting. Donnie's slow. Nato's been cold a little bit. But are you feeling better about the offense? Do you think people are freaking out a little bit too soon, or you think there's valid concerns about the offense moving forward?
I mean, the offense for the most part has been doing its job. Like I know in those 2 games against Texas, it didn't really happen, but you faced some decent pitching this week against Kansas City, and you got the job done against Cole Reagans, who I know is coming off an injury, but the Cardinals have struggled to hit lefties at times throughout the last couple of seasons. So
yeah,
that's encouraging to see. The Dodgers are spot starting a lefty today who's not been great.
Woo! Probably going to shut down the Cardinals, but it's okay.
There you go. So I don't know what to make of a lot of the noise around that. You know, offenses are going to go through their ups and downs, and Lars Nootbaar has been kind of slow. Mason Wynn's heating up a little bit, but everyone's kind of average to above average, except for like Arenado and Pajes and Scott.
Yeah, Scott's fallen off.
But like Pajes shouldn't really be playing much, you know. I don't know. I have a couple gripes with Ollie, like very few, because we like Ollie a lot, but that's one of them where it's like, I know Pajes has been great defensively, but I just can't always justify having a 612 OPS guy in the lineup. Scott's falling off, but you still have that speed where like he got hit by a pitch the other day and I think was like running wild. So that's still very valuable. And he's not Scott of 2024 where he was unplayably bad.
He's batting ninth for you, right? It's not like you're like, oh, our leadoff guy. Like, I mean, coming into the year, I think we were all kind of happy if he's only 20% below league average. And right now he's 10% below. So better than what we thought he'd be, but not as good.
Yeah, and like Jordan Walker being out hurts. I don't know why Ryan Vilade is starting. He's terrible, and he's like 30. And he's like never been good at the big league level, and he has not been good this year yet. I know it's only 7 at bats, but whatever. He's not a guy you should be playing. I know Burleson can't hit lefties very well, but honestly, I don't think this Dodgers starter is going to be in there for more than like 4 or 5 innings. So that's totally fine.
Yeah.
So I don't know about a lot of that. Gorman has started to look better, starting to take better at bats. Had a big homer in the other game when I was actually tuned in, I think a couple days ago. So if you're going to give guys runway, don't give it to Ryan Vilade. He's the second coming of Taylor Motter. He kind of looks like Taylor Motter too, if you look at his picture. Got similar hairstyles, but like you don't need this guy on your roster other than like in an emergency. And also, I'm not really sure why you didn't like. I don't know if you want to call me crazy or not, but does he serve any like more of a purpose than like Michael Ciani would? Why is Michael Ciani not on the roster instead of this guy? Like this guy is, yeah.
Well, if they think he needs to start against righties, that's the thing he serves. Because like Ciani and like someone. Well, I'm not agreeing with that. I'm just saying that would be the.
He's a career 380 OPS. I know it's only 58 at bats, but he's also 30.
He started off hot in AAA. I was fine with him. I was fine with him being called up because I thought what they would probably do is run Gorman almost every day right now, and Vilade is just there because you have a spot that doesn't really need used right now, and instead they're using him every day against lefties, which is like, okay, whatever. I'm not a fan of it. Koperniak, a left-handed hitter, wouldn't really help the roster right now, and he's not been good at AAA this year, so I'm not surprised we're not seeing him. I think overall, like again, I'm agreeing with you. The Vilade starting against lefties, it's unfortunate, but like if I know they couldn't predict some of the lefty matchups they've had, but at the same time, it's like I would rather have Thomas Saggese if he's gonna be playing. If Vilade was gonna be playing this much, because I didn't want Thomas Saggese called up when Walker went down because I thought Gorman was gonna be playing, so it didn't make sense to have Saggese riding the bench. But now Vilade's playing every day. It's like, well, why didn't you just go up Saggese if you're gonna play a right-handed bat every day? Whatever. I digress. I think I have zero concerns about this offense this year because I'm not thinking it's a top 3 or 4 unit, 5 unit. And so like that means this offense, even those units have dry spells, but this offense is going to have some more significant dry spells at times. But you look at the offense and I feel really confident about Wills Contreras, Brendan Donovan, and Ivan Herrera being major producers for you this year. Mason Wynn has been awesome this year and he's bringing some power to his game while hitting for average. He's a guy that I think is like a pretty good fourth bat for you. And Nootbaar, again, like been a little more down as of late than up, but at the same time, he's got the upside. Burleson this last month has been incredible. He's a 150 WRC plus guy. Again, I'm not saying all these guys are stars, but I feel like it's hard to see this whole offense going cold for too long of stretches. They have too many different bats that can be options. That when Wills Contreras has a tough stretch, Ivan Herrera can pick up the slack. When Nootbaar has this tough stretch, Burleson can pick up the slack, and so on and so forth. And then when they're all firing all cylinders, that's when they can go on runs. But the room for error is so much smaller now because the pitching's not performing that they really need the offense to go all the time. So I think that's what's going to make it feel worse now is that when the Cardinals are winning games like 2-1, 2-0, like people complain about the offense a little bit, but they won, so people feel good. when they lose 6-1 or whatever, people are throwing up their hands and acting like everything's terrible. And part of it's really the pitching just isn't getting it going. The offense has been more than any of us thought it would be this year. So I have a hard time getting mad at it. But yeah, I wish they were giving Corum opportunities right now. I really don't understand why they're not. I get lefties are on the mound, so bring him in later in the game when a righty comes in. But it's like it's getting pretty frustrating at this point that it's like, man, he's showing you what he can take. But I guess he's told reporters that he's enjoyed. I think he wants to play every day, but he's made the most of not playing because instead of going out and feeling like he has to produce when he's out there, he's working every day on getting better at the things he needs to get better at to be a better hitter at the big league level. And so if that ends up translating, then this could work out really well for him. But at some point, he's going to need the opportunity to prove it, or else you're going to get to this offseason and be like, I don't know what Gorman is. And it's like, okay, we're stuck in the same boat that we're always in with this team, where it's like, I don't know who guys are. But yeah, I feel good about this offense moving forward. So I know you got to get to the Dodger game. I know we've got Blogger Day tomorrow, podcast day tomorrow. So we've got we'll have the Q&A up for you guys, and we'll be back after the Dodger series. Any last thoughts you want to give before we close out today, Andrew?
I don't know. We could preview the Dodgers series a little bit. I think the game's at 7:15, so I'm chilling for a little bit.
Oh, okay. I thought you need to get there a little earlier, but
bigger picture stuff. I think Sada's going to hop in at 5:30 too.
Oh, okay. Or I guess maybe before we actually maybe I'll wait. I was gonna say I kind of want to do a little bit of I know it's not birds on the farm, but kind of give a little bit of thoughts on the farm system right now. So it's looking pretty nice. And Quinn Matthews is starting today, which is huge. Uncle Ted just put that in the chat, but I think this is his first AAA start since his rehabs. But yeah, let's talk about the series though. You've got Yamamoto tomorrow. You've got what's his face today, the lefty, and then Sunday's Dustin May, right?
Yeah. So the Dodgers pitching is not like great anyway. So
it's
at least right now. As currently constructed.
Yeah, you definitely did draw you got a good draw this weekend where you just have Yamamoto. The other two guys you should hit. And you've got Sonny Gray against one of them, so hopefully that's like not auto win, but hopefully they get that. Like I'm afraid you get swept this series, so hopefully having Sonny Gray not go up against Yamamoto gives you a better chance to win game one. We'll see what happens with Fetty Saturday. I don't feel great about that one. And then McDreamy Magic. So what I hate for McDreamy though is he's been so awesome, and it's like he feels like he has to produce it feels like from my end he has to prove himself every time to stay in the rotation. And of course, when he gets back up for a start, he has to go against dumb what? Oh, hold up. The pitching matchups have changed a little bit.
Have they?
Yeah. Okay. Kershaw on Sunday now.
Oh.
Dustin May on Monday.
Okay.
So, and then Yamamoto's still tomorrow though.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, you don't have Dustin May, you have Kershaw. I don't like two lefties though. Oof.
Just sign Matt Adams, man. Like, I don't know, Matt Carpenter, bring him back. That seems to.
That is the way to do it. That's for sure. Yeah. I mean, I think the Cardinals could win the series, but if you're asking me to pick, I'd probably pick the Dodgers because the stinking Dodgers. And the Cardinals pitching right now just doesn't look good enough. But I don't know. I guess as someone who pays more attention to Dodger baseball than most people on this podcast, Andrew, what do you think the keys are to beating this Dodger team right now?
I mean, you just have to get to the pitching, right? Like the Dodgers pitching has, like, I know they signed everybody in the offseason, but it just hasn't really worked, right? And there's guys in the bullpen that you can get to. Tanner Scott, they signed to a massive contract, and he's been pretty terrible for them this year so far. And I know he's still closing and doing stuff for them, but like that's a real weakness for them. The lineup, if the lineup hits, it hits, man, and that there's not really a lot you can do about that. There's like maybe I know Conforto keeps drawing starts, which I mean I love today. Like that's great. Keep that coming up, and Will Smith isn't playing today, but they have I think 3 or 4 bats in their lineup that have an OPS over like 950. And that's like, what are you going to do? And Mookie Betts is having a down year. I know it's like he had some struggles at the beginning of the season, like being sick and whatnot. So like you're not even getting the necessarily the full power output you could from the top three guys. But I don't know how to beat this Dodger team. Like they haven't been as good as we anticipated, but if the offense decides it wants to click, then it's going to click. And it feels like Ohtani, like you know by the first or second at bat if he's feeling it or not. And if he's feeling it, then I don't know. I guess you walk him every time and hope he doesn't steal second, which he probably will.
Yeah. I mean, I'm expecting Tommy Edman to have a big series just because it feels like it's going to happen so that Twitter melts down. But I do think it's interesting. I know that it doesn't include the postseason stats, but he's basically the same hitter with the Dodgers in his career than he was with the Cardinals at this point. And
well, I do wonder how much of that is like once he came back from that injury last season, he was really, really hot. And then he started this season really, really hot and he got hurt. And after he's gotten hurt, he's been absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. Like, maybe he's still playing through something. I know he's playing through something because he was scratched a couple of times over the last week or so. But I don't really know what to make of a lot of that because it's such a small sample size. Because if you looked at this like 2 weeks ago, it would have been completely different.
True, but the part of that is the Tommy Edman experience in St. Louis too, where there was weeks where Tommy was like, "Don't pitch to that dude. He's crushing everything," and then there are weeks where he wasn't hitting, which is actually most hitters. Most hitters go through slumps and streaks. Maybe not that exaggerated, but like it's baseball. Like people, very few hitters, and it's like that's why the prime guys, even prime guys like Juan Soto, go through slumps. But like most guys do not hold whatever their season averages or the highs are for very long. It's ebbs and flows. But I mean, I don't need to tell you that. Just some people feel like forget that. Some like they know it, but they don't act like it. But Tommy Edman, I don't. But people are acting like Cardinals gave up like another like insane star, and I don't think that happened. But I'm not trying to downplay how valuable Tommy Edman is, how awesome he is. It's like honestly, I would love for him to be a Cardinal long term. But like when you had Victor Scott coming up, you have Mason Winn at shortstop, you have Brendan Donovan. Like where was Tommy Edman supposed to play? And I know he could have played right field right now. I get it. Like there was a spot for him because of injuries, but like you weren't going to pay him the contract the Dodgers are able to. Like the Dodgers have the luxury, and Tommy Edman's a winning player. Any team would want to have him. But the Cardinals in this season, when they have cost control guys that they can run through that can give you a Tommy Edman can or better, I was fine with the move. It just sucks now that it made sense to go get Fetty at that deadline because you made a push, but then you flopped and didn't make the push. So it's like, well, that value you gave you in the second half didn't matter. Then you didn't maximize on the value in the offseason. And now he's bad this year. And so it's like, you were going to give Tommy Edman up for something, but it's like, if this ends up being the Eric Fetty experience, it sucks as a return. It really does. Like it made sense at the time, but it ended up not working out. So process made sense, but then the follow through on it's been terrible. Sorry about that little Tommy Edman rant. I'm just doing that ahead of the fact that he's going to tee off on the Cardinals this weekend.
And then, like, if the Cardinals had traded Tommy Edman to like the Reds and he won NLCS MVP, then he's like David Eckstein for them, right? And like, because nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
Because, like, just because LA is a big market, that's why Tommy Edman's drawing all this attention. And there's Tommy Edman bobblehead nights and stuff like that. And his mom's throwing out the first pitch, and stuff like that's happening. And it's drawing attention. His teammates with Shohei Ohtani and whatever, right? Like he's a great role player on a great team, but.
And I feel like role player is like sometimes is taken as like a bad thing, but he's like the souped up version of it, right? Like Tommy Edman is like a star role player where he's not a star, but he's like the best possible version of a role player where he's not just filling, but he can play defense, all these different positions. He can, and like not just like, oh, he can play left field, right field. Like he can play elite center field defense, really good shortstop defense, not elite, but good, or elite second base defense. You play third base, left field, right field.
That going into this is not.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying he's a souped up role player. And so like for a team like the Dodgers, it's incredible to have that. And I mean, for any team, it's incredible to have that. It just made sense to me for the Cardinals to like I would love to hear in the chat, like, would you rather have like rank these guys in order of who you'd want to have? Mason Winn, Brendan Donovan, Victor Scott, and Tommy Edman. I think most people probably have Tommy Edman number 4, especially because you have to factor in the fact you have to pay him. Like, do you want Victor Scott making below $1 million a year, or do you want Tommy Edman making $16 million?
But you can move Brendan Donovan to left field, and then Lars Nootbaar to right field. And
yeah, I mean that side of
Edman or Jordan Walker, and it's like, well, I feel like that's pretty much up for debate. It's not even really up for debate.
Yeah, today I want Tommy Edman for sure, but like again, I got the process because I mean, okay, at the 2024 deadline, were we all like trade Jordan Walker? I mean, well, some people probably were, but how many of us were saying get rid of Jordan Walker to make space for Tommy Edman? Probably none of us, but anyways.
I don't know about that, but he mashes lefties, and he faced a lot of lefties at the start of the season. He hit a couple off some righties, and I don't know. We'll see what happens throughout this series and throughout the rest of the season. But I mean, they did pay him a lot of money, and honestly, for the production he's given them this season so far, I don't know if it's worth that. But they're the Dodgers, and I think he deferred like half of it, so who cares?
Yeah. I guess the one other thing before we go, I just want to comment. Like, I'm really intrigued by the Cardinals farm system right now. Rodriguez, man, that dude's raking, and it's still early. Like, he just got to low A, so like, we don't need to get too.
We're gonna start saying that like Juan Soto spent a week at Double A, and then another like.
Oh yeah, let's not even go there yet. But I do think
even Juan Soto age when he came up. Like, I don't think so.
Juan Soto was 19 when he debuted.
Yeah, how old is he right now?
18.
Okay,
so yeah, he's young. I do think like there's again part of the reason I'm liking this Reinell stuff is it's not like, oh, he's just hitting a bunch of home runs and Cardinal fans are freaking out about it. Like preseason, you have people like baseball from Baseball America being like, man, like Padilla was the other guy, but Reinell Rodriguez are guys you need to watch. I saw Kyle reset it recently where he was talking to some different people. And again, not like
Jeff Jones just said that Ohtani's bullpen got moved. I'm disappointed. I was going to go watch.
Tough. But Reinell Rodriguez is a guy that scouts around the league think would go top 30 in this year's draft. So it's like for this guy to come out of nowhere where he's like the quality of a first round pick in this year's draft. But again, like he is mashing home runs right now. He's probably first base DH long term, but he's got like real 70 grade power. Again, like this could fall off, but I'm really intrigued by that. Joshua Baez is looking pretty darn good in Double A. He's a prep guy they drafted a few years ago. JJ Weatherholt is setting Double A on fire right now. Don't need to rush him. I hate that people are like, check Cagliano's up. We should get JJ Weather. It's like, stop. Like most guys don't need to be up in St. Louis that quickly. Like, learn our lesson.
Yeah, Cagliano's hitting what, like 0.95? I know he had some really hard hit balls, and that he probably should have had a lot more hits this week. But
let JJ develop. When he's ready, I want him called up. Whenever the Cardinals truly believe he's ready, great. But don't force it. Quinn Matthews is back. Takeo Roby, man, looking awesome in Double A. Tink Hence, we'll see what happens, right? Lynn looking pretty darn good in High A. There's just a lot of interesting guys right now. Crooks and Bernal. And then you're going to have this 5th overall pick, which is not going to be the quality of the 5th overall pick in other drafts, but it'll still be a significant prospect. I really am interested to see how Randy Flores partners with this new front office and how they draft this at this MLB draft. My point is I'm intrigued by the reinforcements potentially coming. It potentially gives the Cardinals some pieces to work with at the deadline that they can move if need be. Or like maybe a Joshua Baez or something like that could be used to go do something. But my main takeaway is like we're looking at the youth movement. We spent most of our time talking about the big league club on this podcast. And that's why we do that, because we focus on that. I highly encourage you checking out Birds in the Farm because I know they're going to do draft content coming up, but they're going to be reflecting on these guys. Sandy and Kareem bringing his expertise to that. But it's an exciting time. So Cardinals system isn't quite like a top 10 system, but most people had it kind of middle of the pack going into the year, and there's been a lot of upside plays so far. And so, I forget how to say his name. It's not Ixon. It's I don't remember, but he's pitching great. He's been great this year. I know Jerpy's down, but we'll see if he comes back well. There's just a lot of really intriguing stuff going on in the minor league level. So I just wanted to give that update for those who maybe don't tune into that as often.
Yeah.
And Chase Davis. So, yeah. Anyways, well, appreciate you all tuning in. Andrew, if you see Andrew at the ballpark, you might not recognize him because he'll be in all.
I will not be wearing this.
He will be in a different team's colors. So, oh boy. I hope people heckle you for it.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll deal with it.
It's okay. We love you for your Shohei Ohtani glazing.
It's my NPB shirt tomorrow for Blogger Day because I thought it would be distasteful if I wore my Dodgers stuff.
We need to pull up a clip sometime of you asking me the question.
You can go find that. Yeah, you can go find it.
Yeah, you guys can go find that. The question that Andrew is known for, but it's okay. Well, we appreciate the support as always. Like and subscribe helps channel a ton. Again, we'll have the audio from the Q&A tomorrow up on the channel, so be looking out for that. Sunday's pod, obviously, we'll have that up as well. Good luck to the Cardinals against the reigning World Series champions this weekend. We'll see you on Sunday. Thanks, Tommy.